Whenever I purchase a package of M&Ms, I make it my duty to continue the strength and robustness of the candy as a species. To this end, I hold M&M Duels. I do not include peanut, almond, peanut butter, or dark chocolate. Supposedly on a trip to Spain during the Spanish Civil War, Forrest Mars Sr. encountered soldiers who were eating pellets of chocolate that were encased in a hard sugary coating to prevent them from melting. Mr. Mars was inspired by what he saw and brought the idea back home to perfect the recipe. In the 50s, peanut M&Ms were introduced, as well as the slogan, "The milk chocolate melts in your mouth and not in your hand." I don't know how accurate the statement, "melts in your mouth, not in your hand," of the 50s is, because the paraffin formula wasn't perfected until the mid-1970s at Battelle Northwest Laboratories in Richland, Washington. You heard me right, the formula is actually a wax mist that is sprayed on the candy. This only gives the illusion of not melting. The wax film is so thin it actually melts, but the wax is transparent so you're not aware of any melting until you melt through to the candy itself. It wasn't until 1960 that the colors red, green, and yellow were introduced. All offerings were brown until then. In 1976, the orange strain was introduced and the reds were dismissed. The reason for the abatement of the red M&Ms was due to the fact that the red dye at the time was linked with killing laboratory rats. The rumor was that red dye number 40 caused cancer. This, however, was not true. 11 years later, red was reintroduced as a result of the overwhelming request from consumers. Enough of the history lesson, on to the dueling process. Taking two candies, I stack them between my thumb and forefinger and then apply pressure, squeezing them together until one of them cracks and splinters. That is the loser, and I eat the inferior one immediately. The winner gets promoted to the next competition. I have found that in general the brown and red M&Ms are more resilient, and the newer blue ones are genetically inferior. I have hypothesized that the blue M&Ms as a race cannot survive long in the intense theater of competition that is the modern candy and snack food world. Occasionally I will get a mutation, a candy that is misshapen, pointier, flatter, different than the rest. Almost invariably this proves to be a weakness, but on very rare occasions it gives the candy extra strength. In this way, the species continues to adapt to its environment. When I reach the end of the pack, I am left with one M&M, the strongest of the herd. Since it would make no sense to eat the victor, I pack it neatly in an envelope and send it to M&M Mars, a division of Mars Incorporated, Hackettstown, New Jersey, 17840-1503, USA. I also send along a 3x5 card reading, "Please use this M&M for breeding purposes." This week they wrote back to thank me and sent me a coupon for a free half-pound bag of plain M&Ms. I'll consider this grant money, and I have set aside the weekend for a grand tournament. From a field of hundreds, we will discover the true champion. There can be only one.